Today we will understand the structure of any C program. That is how any C program, either small or large, will look like. This will help us in writing any program. As we have seen in previous lectures that C is structured or modular programming language. This means module means function or subroutine or task. So this means any C program is composed of only functions. Either it may be header file or user defined function or main function. So first of all we must understand that any C program is collection of functions only. So if we include header files, this means we are including many functions which are defined in that header file. Or one more thing that we must understand, that functions, if they are user defined, then we have to define all the functions separately. That is, we cannot define any function inside any other function. How do we define any function? How we can identify whether this is definition of a function? In case of function, there are three things. One is definition, one is declaration, and another one is calling. Definition, we can identify that if this is return type of the function, this is function name, and these are the arguments or parameters. So this is closing parenthesis. If there is braces immediately after closing parenthesis, this shows that this is the definition of the function. Here we have to write the body of the function, and we need to declare the function sometimes. When we need to declare the function, if the function is defined below any function where it is to be used. For example, suppose there is main method or main function, and we are defining a function below it, like void display. If we are defining function below it, then means before its calling there must be declaration of this function. So this we must understand, that before calling the function must be declared. Function can be declared at two places, either locally or globally. That is, declaration in C language also we must know that it can be done only at the beginning of any function or globally. So this thing we will write: declaration can be done only at the beginning of any function or globally, that is outside the function. Outside means above the function. So in C language, declaration is in two cases, it is optional. If function is returning integral type value, that is int, char, then declaration of the function is optional. First thing we must remember that declaration is required only if function is defined below its call. Then we have to declare the function. Otherwise, if function definition is above the function call, then there is no need to declare it. That is, definition becomes the declaration also. So this thing is clear, and now see how the function is declared. This is the definition. It can be identified that if there is braces. Now to declare any function, there are two things. Either we copy this line and paste it. That is, this line is same, and after that we have to use the semicolon. This means this function is declared. Another way is that we can ignore the variable names. That is where at the time of declaration, writing variable names is optional. That is we have to write only data type. That is, it tells how many arguments it will take at the time of call. And this is the function call. Function call, how do we call the function? If it is returning any value, then this value must be stored somewhere, or it should be used directly in any expression. For example, this is the add method or add function. So after adding, it will give a result, and that must be stored in some variable. In second case, we can see that this function is returning the value, and this value will be used in this expression. Function returns the value exactly at the place where it is called. So this is calling of the function. Now see how the structure of C program will look like. So we will write here structure. First of all, we have to include the header files. Inclusion of header files. This is done at the beginning of, that is at the top of the program. So header files inclusion can be done with the help of hash preprocessor. So hash include stdio.h, any other header file, as many as header files we can include which are required in the program, like conio.h, console input output .h. If we are performing mathematical function, then mathematical functions are defined inside math.h. So whatever functions we are using in the program, we have to declare the corresponding header file. So how could we know that which function is defined in the header file? So in Turbo C, I will tell you that how to know. You bring the cursor inside any character like stdio and press Ctrl F1. So it will show the help, that is, it will show or display all the functions defined the stdio.h, or you can Google it that which functions are defined inside the stdio.h. So header files are declared only at the top of the functions. After that, one more thing is there, that is, suppose you have defined some functions, your functions, like your user defined functions, like say you can say square function you want to define because it is not in the mathematical header file. So you can define your own square function. It will take some argument. Okay, so like this you can define as many as functions, and suppose you have defined these functions in p1.c file. So these functions you can use in any of the program, any of the other program. So for that you have to include this file. So for including your C file in any other program, this is called multi-file program. So you have to include this file, and inclusion can be done with the help of double quotes like p1.c. Using these double quotes you can include this file. Here we have to keep in mind two things. One is that this file, if it is stored in the current directory where this program that you are writing is stored, then you can just write the file name. What is the difference of inclusion of a file with less than, greater than, or with double quotes? Difference is that if you are including these header files can be included either with double quotes or less than, greater than symbol. But your user defined file can be included with the help of less than greater than symbol only if this file is stored where all these header files are stored, that is in the same directory where these files are stored. If you are storing this, suppose these files are stored in include folder or include directory, then you can include your file also with the help of less than, that is p1.c, less than greater than p1.c. After inclusion of these header files, you can declare some variable if required, like int x is equal to 5. This is global variable. You can define some constants, like define max 10. So like this you can define some constants here. This semicolon will not be used, and after that you can define your own functions, that is definition of some other functions, definitions of some other functions. After that you have to write the main method, that is each C program which we want to run must have a one main method. So main method is compulsory, because execution of it is called director method, because the execution of program starts from the main method. How you can see that this is a method? If immediately after variable name, valid variable name, there is a parenthesis, this means this is a method or function. For example, can we see for is a function or method? For is a function. For is not a function. For is a, because for is not a variable, valid variable name, because for is a keyword, and we know that variable name cannot be keyword. So for is not a function. For is a construct. Now next thing, here we will understand in the function, we can write the return type of the function. It could be int or void. Okay, so here right now we are writing void keyword, because each function returns some value, and if it is not returning any value, then we can show it with the help of void keyword. Main function also returns a value to the operating system, so we should write int here, but we can also write void. We will also tell later on that what is the purpose of returning int value. Actually in one line we can understand now. Int means if we are returning int, then we have to return either 0 or 1. We have to return either 0 or 1. 1 means function is terminated successfully. This message is passed to the operating system, so operating system frees all the resources acquired by the function. If we return 0 means successful, and non-zero value, for example 1 or any other non-zero value, tells to the operating system that function is terminated incorrectly. After that, here you have to do the declaration of function. So here you can do declaration of variables or functions. If we have defined function below, then we should declare. In case of integral type, declaration is optional. So all the variables must be declared at the beginning of function or globally. The statements like, suppose we have written here int a is equal to 5, b is equal to 10, and c, then c is equal to a plus b. After that we cannot declare int d is equal to 10. This is possible in C++, but it is not possible in C. So this is error. If you are using Turbo C compiler, then this will not produce error. But to check whether this is error or not, you have to save the program with .c extension like p2.c. If you will save the program with .c function, .c extension, then this will show error. That is declaration you cannot do dynamically. That is at the mid of the program. This is done. Now after that you can write the statements, calculation steps, and this will be called as definition of function, definition or body and after that you have to use the closing braces, and this tells the end of main function. After ending the main function, you can also declare some other function like definition of some other functions. Although you could declare here also, but if you are declaring any function, then that declaration will be applicable to the functions which are defined below it. So you can do the declaration anywhere, either if you are declaring anything that is variable or function, then if you are declaring it within a method, then it must be done at the beginning. Otherwise it should be declared outside any function. Now we can see all this with the help of an example. That is, we will write a small program where we will define some functions, and we will include some header files. For example, first of all we have to include stdio.h because we are using printf method. So printf is defined inside stdio.h. Next we can use include conio.h if you are using getch method. Also getch method is not required if you are using a compiler on command prompt based compiler. That is, output and editor window are visible at the same time. But if you are using Turbo C++, then you to see the output there are also two methods. Either you can use the Alt F5 key combination, or you can use getch. Okay, so it actually waits for user input, and meanwhile we could see the output. So we can write this like this, or we can write with the help of double quotes, conio.h double quotes. So there are two methods. You can use either double quotes or less than greater than symbol. Next we will declare a small method, that is int add, and it is adding two numbers int y, and we can write definition in one line, return x plus y. Okay, after that we can write the main method like void main. In Turbo C compiler void will work, but in some compiler you have to write int and return 0 for successful termination. Okay, so here either you don't write anything or try to write int. But if you are using Turbo C compiler, then you could also write void. And after that, here we are defining one more function which is, say, returning non-integral type value. like multiplication, and you want to multiply two floating point value a and float b, and result would be return a into b. So here result will be also float point, that we have to indicate with the help of return type. So to call this function or to use this function, you must declare this. So, and this declaration we can do inside, that is at the beginning of main function. So for declaration we have to just copy and paste this float a comma float b. Although writing variable at the time of declaration is optional, that is you can omit these variables, and declaration of this add method is not required. And also you can see what is the difference between declaration inside and declaration outside. If you are declaring a function or variable, then its scope is inside this braces, that is it cannot be used outside this. Okay, suppose you are declaring int variable x, so x can be used inside. If you are declaring same x inside any other function, then that is different x. This is similar to one person like Amit could be at one home, and another same name person Amit could be at another home. So these braces are equivalent to one home, and this braces is equivalent to another home. This is another home. Okay, now we will call these functions. We can call with the help of variables by scanning the value, or we can call with constant value. So we can call inside print function, printf %d, and we can directly call add function like 10 comma 20. This is one call, and another you have to call multiply function. So for multiply function, because it is returning a value, so you have to declare say r, but here you cannot write float because you have written one more statement printf. So if you have started writing some statements that is which are not declaration, then after that you cannot declare any variable. So this r must be declared in the beginning of the function, that is in the declaration section. So we have declared float all. Now we can call this function with the help of two values, floating point type values. We have written 2.3f. F denotes this is floating type value, otherwise it will be double type value. So after that we will print the result. Like this we can write any program which can have many functions, definitions, declarations and calling.